Hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast. And today we're actually going to talk about, and you can't really see it. I'm sorry for that. You can't really see this by this either, so I'll have to go to the browser. We are going to talk about Drive by Daniel H. Pink, which is a book about motivation and which, tells you that all you have been thinking about motivation is quite wrong. And was actually the catchphrase why I've chosen to talk about this book today. And as you can see, I'm sorry, the setup is again a little bit different because I think, it gives me more room to just make my gestures and do things and do stuff and do certain things and I don't know. But again, I have a little more room and it's more about me and not so much about the text, which I've been a little bit lacking in the past few. A lot of these episodes were just me in the corner, and I think I don't like this as much. But for the podcast listeners, it's always the same. So these are just the people who will always be lucky. I hope, at least. But I'm Christopher, a 17-year-old, and by now a 17-year-old graphic design student from Austria, and I'm pretty much into setting up my business and doing this financial stuffs and this motivational stuffs. I've been now on social media for about, let me guess, I actually don't really know. I've actually started in June the last year with just making really, really basic Instagram stuff. Just, really one picture a day. And I've done this for, I think, actually some months or one, or I don't know. But, by now I really know that this is, you know, not, so this is too less. I have to do much more and I have to, have this volume. At my point of view, on social media nowadays, volume is king and also quality. But just if you have so much to show, there the chance is much higher to be seen if you have more content and more stuff to show. Especially or actually, just get somebody to look at your stuff. If you just have free posts which are total great, um, actual the early adopters, under the people will still go and follow you. But I guess, and that's my opinion now, that if you have just a lot of posts, a lot to go through, just a lot to look at, people will be a little bit more interested than just having one post. But enough said, and later I hope and I will not forget, or I hope I will not forget, I will also mention something else, and I've by now forgotten it already. So this is actually a pretty good start. But let's actually start with the book in 3 sentences. Much of what we know about motivation is wrong, which is something I think is pretty true because we all think most of the time that certain things are what they are, but actually they are. So this isn't actually a surprise for me. The second one is tasks are either algorithmic, which means that you pretty much do them over and over again in a certain way, or heuristic, which means that you have to come up with something new every time because there are no set instructions to follow. And the third one is the carrot and stick approach to motivation is flawed. And I don't know the carrot and stick approach. But I actually guess I carrot and stick. There may definitely be is a traditional motivational theory that asserts in motivating people to elect desired behavior. Sometimes the rewards are given in the form of money, promotion, and any other financial or non-financial benefits, and sometimes the punishments are exerted to push. And I think, yeah, I've just really been thinking about these drawings or these illustrations, and I think they're quite good actually. Equality, something, something to think about. But we will go ahead with the 5 big ideas of this book, and I'll just have to see. Yeah, I'm in the frame. Everything is okay. Everything is right, and this. Can't I just, put you away? I'm sorry for that. But actually, by now I can, there's only one thing on the screen and you exactly know where I am. But nevertheless, we will start now. Researchers have found that extrinsic rewards can be effective for algorithmic tasks, those that depend on following an existing formula to its logical conclusion. But for more right brain undertakings, those that demand flexible problem solving, inventiveness, or conceptual understanding, contingent rewards can be dangerous. Goals that people set for themselves and that are devoted to attaining mastery are usually healthy, but goals imposed by others can sometimes have dangerous side effects. And this is actually something, that I've been thinking about, because actually my mother had to do a job, or had to go to uni and just really study this thing. It was um, to then be a lawyer. I don't know what it is called, but actually she didn't really want to. And if you just do something you do not really want to do, you know what else will happen but you getting really unhappy and you not being as good as others that are actually liking this subject or actually liking what they do in their job. How could you expect you being pretty great even though if you do not like it? So actually there is some kind of way that this can happen. So just if you have talent, just you were born like pretty big and pretty athletic, and then you just start to play football and you're like, oh, I do not really like football but I'm good. Yeah, because you're born like this. But in terms of that, it's just like I only wish for people that they do something for their life in terms of work, because work takes a lot of your life, actually a third. I always talk about a third, but I actually do not know, but I guess, or I think I've just read it sometimes in my life. And even if it's a third, which is pretty long time, just please do something you really like, because not doing something for a third of your life is just killing you, I think, and just drowning your soul. So, sorry, at my point of view, you should really be doing something you like. But let's go ahead. We have 3 initiate psychological needs: competence, autonomy, and relateness. Research shows that the secret to high performance isn't our biological drive or our reward and punishment drive, but our third drive, which is, I hope they will just, say me or you, our deep-seated desire to direct our own lives, to extend and expand our abilities, and to live a life of purpose. And this is actually one of the main reasons why I think money won't make you happy at all. Because what do you get because of money? Yeah, you can buy yourself a Lambo, you can buy yourself watches, you can buy yourself cars, you can buy yourself I don't know what. But it's just really this rewarding system that they were talking about before. And for me then, just focusing on trying to help people instead, which is just a really different approach to that, a just really different reward, if you want to say, if you want to tell it like this or call it like this. But it's more like just a desire, everybody has a desire in their lives. I really want to help people, and some others just, yeah, maybe some others won't or will just get rich or want to just get rich, and so on. There's nothing wrong about just chasing being rich, but often it seems like, and this is actually now some kind of quote from Gary Vee. Chasing being rich or chasing money isn't bad, but it's most of the time the easiest way not to get it. But yeah, let's go ahead with the last point which is the new approach to motivation has three initial elements. The first one is autonomy, the desire to direct our own lives, which is, at my point of view, and I haven't really been speaking about it before, just really ended my thought behind this. We all, and this is something I've been, I think, just pretty talking about the last episodes over and over again, that we really like to create something ourselves, to see something ourselves, to get a thought on ourselves, everything just on ourselves. And this is actually an insight from How to Win Friends and Influence People. I won't tell the story again, just have to look a few episodes later, or before that. There's somewhere I've been talking about this not really necessary story, but the end of the story is that you should always let people be in the belief that they are just created this idea themselves or had this idea themselves, and so on, because they need it. The second one is the mastery, which is the urge to get better and better at something that matters. And I think in terms of something that matters, is just about you. I may, care about, I don't know, I may care about my social media things. Yeah, I deeply care about them. Some others will just be like, yeah, fuck my social media things. I really care about books. They really matter to me. So it's also just something about self-awareness, to know your mastery, the second point. So the belief, or just the thing you matter about, or that matters to you. And the third one is the purpose, and the yearning to do what we do in the service of something larger than ourselves, which then is actually, I think, my just willingness to help people, which is my yearning, my legacy, or something, or my legacy that I will at the end have. But yeah, I'm speaking a little bit monotonous, I think, today. And if this is so, and also pretty silent, not silent, but quiet. If it's like this, I'm very sorry. I don't know. It feels a little bit different today, but it's making fun nevertheless. When money is used as an external reward for some activity, the subject loses intrinsic interest for the activity. And I do not know for shit what fucking instinctive means. Therefore, I'll translate it. And it's just the same thing in German as well. I'm sorry for that. When children didn't expect a reward, receiving one had little impact on their instinctive motivation. Only contingent rewards, if you do this then you will get that, had a negative effect. Why? If then rewards require people to forfeit some of their autonomy. So if then rewards require people to forfeit, what does forfeit mean? Or forfeit or whatever. Yeah, thank you. It's just the same thing. Maybe it's misspelled or something. Where I am, I'm here. Just telling children that there will not be an actual. That makes total sense. It's just always like you're reading these things, and you know that they make sense, or you probably know these things before, but they are written so complicated that you actually are, oh yeah, that's a new thing, I didn't know that. But actually, if you just tell someone that there will not be something like a reward, or I don't know, and you just then be like, yeah, actually there is a reward, and then you give it to them, and then they will be surprised. That's not a surprise for me that they will be surprised. But actually, if you just say to them, yeah, there will be a reward, they won't be surprised. And it makes sense, yeah. But let's see. People use rewards expecting to gain the benefit of increasing another person's motivation and behavior, but in so doing, they often incur the unintentional and hidden cost of undermining that person's intrinsic motivation toward the activity. John Marshall Reeve. So people use rewards or whatever they are called, expecting to gain the benefit of increasing another person's motivation and behavior. Okay. Rewards, by their very nature, narrow our focus, which is totally right, because if you know that there is a reward, you would just focus on the fucking reward or whatever you pronounce it. But if you just so then if you just it makes sense. You have to think about it like in a football game. If you're taking part in a football game and afterwards there will be a reward, then everything is about the reward, and the actual game itself will be then not that great to be in, or not that great to play in, because actually everything is just about the reward, and everybody wants to win because they promised you something pretty great. And then so the fun of playing the game is actually, I don't know, lost. And yeah, so they really narrow our focus. That's helpful when there is a clear path to a solution. They help us stare ahead and face or race faster. And I've actually thought about this, like, you know, at first I was just like, actually this is a great thing, because then we focus on it, we have it in focus, and there's nothing else around us that can distract us from just achieving this one goal, if we know it, at my point of view, or I think, and they just say it as well, yes, if there is a clear path to the solution. But if it's, actually, you will lose the focus on everything around as well, so it doesn't matter, or doesn't mind or matter sorry, if there's a clear path or not. But you then just how do you say, just forget everything around you, and everything won't be just not that important than just achieving this goal. Yeah. If you just get what I meant. I think not, but that's okay. They help us stare ahead and race faster. But if then motivators are terrible for challenges like the candle problem, as the experiment shows, the rewards narrowed people's focus and blinkered the wide view that might have allowed them to see new uses for old objects. So the if then motivators are terrible for challenges, like the candle problem. I don't know the candle problem. As this experiment shows, the rewards narrowed people's focus and blinkered the wide view that might have allowed them to see new uses for old object. Which is, I think, just the thing I was talking about before. You just, you only see this reward and only see the goal, and then everything around else doesn't matter, just like in a blink. And actually, often these things you then not are focused on might be pretty important for you, actually. So Teresa Amabile and others have found that extrinsic rewards can be effective for algorithmic tasks, which are just some things, like if you're reminded from the upper part of this article, these are just the things that, you do over and over again, which have like a certain formula to make. So like, I don't know, solving calculation problems, so calculating anything would be something like this, I guess. But sorry. But yeah, I can really relate to that, because if you just do something very dumb that's not requiring you to be creative or anything, getting these rewards is feels better than I think, because most of the time these are pretty fast tasks, and they do not require you to, think a lot. And yeah, it for me feels, as I'm reading it, um, feels better. Yeah. Um, those that depend on following an exciting formula to its logical conclusion, but for more right brain undertakings, those that demand flexible problem solving, inventiveness, and conceptual understanding, so, in general, creativity, contingent rewards can be dangerous. Instead of increasing the number of blood donors, offering to pay people decreased the number by nearly half. So instead of increasing the number of blood donors, offering to pay people decreased the number by nearly half, which has, I think, just something to do with them being just really happy about giving some people something. And if they get paid for it, there is no just that the spirit gets lost, the spirit of giving something good to some people and not getting something for it, and just being, this nice person. I think, just the spirit gets away, and that may be a reason, or it's the reason for me at least. And because, and I think this is actually the story I was talking about just before this text, I haven't mentioned that I'm actually, as you might see if you have been listening to or watching to the last episode, I'm actually not doing the same article as yesterday. Yeah. Because I think I should really, mix it up a little bit, make a few changes, not doing the article, go through it around 10 episodes long and so on, which I think maybe not that interesting. Even though there you have then your path, and then you actually know where you have stopped and so on, and there's no like information, you really wanna no curiosity, stack or something, because you actually really want to know what happens in the next episode. Yeah. um, but yeah, it makes it interesting for me, and I think it will make it interesting or more interesting for you. But goals that people set for themselves are actually better. I've been talking about this one. Goals may cause systematic problems for organizations due to narrowed focus, unethical behavior, increased risk taking, decreased cooperation, and decreased intrinsic motivation. Use care when applying goals in your organization. Yeah, if it's just then only about your rewards or getting the goal, and you just say to your employees, yeah, the first one who gets to this goal, the first one who achieves 1 million words in their article, or in total of the article, will get the golden, what will they get? A golden hat. Yeah, because I'm just seeing my hat right there. um, of course they will not cooperate. They just fuck about everyone else, just, be about themselves and try to get the fucking prize. That makes sense, yeah. Because people are like that, I guess. Get people fired up with the prospect of rewards, and instead of making better decisions as motivation 2.0, today, speaking doesn't run as good as it could, but that's okay. They can actually make worse ones. So get people fired up with the prospect of rewards, and instead of making better decisions as motivation 2.0, hopes they can actually make worse ones. I don't get that one. The 7 deadly flaws of carrot and sticks. The first one is they can extinguish intrinsic motivation. The second one is they can diminish performance. The third one is they can crush creativity. The fourth one is they can crowd out good behavior. The fifth one is they can encourage cheating, shortcuts, and unethical behaviors. And as you know, if you have just been with me for a little bit a longer time, shortcuts don't work. Never. Never ever. Shortcuts are just some things that will not work because you're just trying to solve something quicker as it should be solved. And then, either in a way of taking the shortcut, you will get caught up by this, by this taking the shortcut, by just taking the shortcut, or you will just lose a lot of money because it was actually a scam, because you really wanted to shortcut on getting money by just taking this course from, I don't know, anyone, and then you're fucked. Yeah. But nevertheless, the sixth one is they can become addictive, and the seventh one is they can foster short-term thinking. Short-term thinking, I've always been a fan of long-term thinking, but, some sort of subconsciously. Because, most of the good things in life are just long-term. Working out is long-term. Eating healthy is long-term. Working on your business is long-term. Investing is long-term. Saving money is long-term. What is short-term? Happiness may be short-term if you just mean to get happy through drinking or smoking or I don't know. But let's go ahead. The Sawyer effect is, and I think this is the part of just a few effects maybe they talk about. So the Sawyer effect is practice that can either turn play into work or turn work into play. Practices that can either turn play into work, which is great if you just turn your work into a play. The other way around is not that good, I think. The essential, it could be good if you just then see it some kind of differently. If you just see then your play as work, but it is still play. It's just something you can be debating about. The essential requirements. Any extrinsic reward should be unexpected and offered only after the task is complete. So unexpected is the first one. And the second one is after this particular task has been completed. First, consider non-tangible rewards, which is, non-tangible, adjective, capable of being touched. Yeah, okay. Praise and positive feedback are much less corrosive than cash and trophies. I wouldn't say so. I think that positive feedback is just something everybody needs. And actually something I've been talking about in the last episode. We always just praise the negative parts of people all the time. And we only praise the good parts of just either our animals, like our pets or dogs or whatever you have, and or our kids. Just if your baby makes their first step, you will be astonished by it. Yeah, they make their first step and so on. But if your coworker just did something very great, you just either say nothing or you just be like, you could have done it better, or some bullshit like this. And please just tell people that they that he or she has done it good. It will just raise their self-esteem and their confidence and everything just about themselves. So I don't really, agree with that one. Second, provide useful information, which is always important if you have a business. If you want to give value to people, give people meaningful information about their work. In brief, for creative, right brain, heuristic tasks, you are on shaky ground, offering if-then rewards. you're better off using now that rewards, and you're best off if your now that rewards provide praise, feedback, and useful information. Which means then, so the best thing, as I'm reading through this, the best thing is to have a reward they first of all do not expect, so you give them just you can, then you just really praise them with positive feedback, and then you give them useful information as well, which is, I think, actually pretty accurate, because the first thing is they will be pretty happy about their present or about their gift they get or whatever they get. They will be very happy about this. Then you tell them that they are so great, that they are, doing so pretty well, and then you give them useful information. Maybe I've just been thinking about critiques, but this may not be the best idea. But what could also be is just, telling them what the next thing is to do or something. But I understand that, because it doesn't matter what your useful information then is. These people are just very happy and very confident and so on, and they will not just be so fucked up because you shitted on them. They will be so happy that they will take these advices and or useful informations and make something with them, because they feel good. Self-determination theory argues that we have three initiate psychological needs, which is competence, autonomy, and relatedness. So competence, you really want to compete with somebody. Autonomy is not having to think about everything you do, and relatedness is other people are doing the same as you, or you just can relate to people, or people can relate to you, or you can just talk to people about things you both are then quite interested in. Human beings have an initiate inner drive to be autonomous, self-determined, and connected to one another. And when that drive is liberated, people achieve more and live richer lives. So people really want to be connected. That's true. That's why social media exists. And autonomous with their ideas and so on. That's actually true. I've been talking about this right before. Not right before, but. So in the mindset, or in the MINST, whatever, it's MIDST of play, many people enjoyed what, I don't know this name, called autotelic experience. Autotelic experience, from the Greek auto, which means self, and telos, which means goal or purpose. And an autotelic experience, the goal is self-fulfilling. The activity is its own reward. The highest, most satisfying experience in people's lives were when they were in flow, which is actually true. In flow, goals are clear. You have to reach the top of the mountain, hit the ball across the net, or mold the clay just right. Feedback is immediate. The mountaintop gets closer to farther. The ball sails in or out of bounds. The pot you're throwing comes out smooth or uneven. So it's just the flow of you making everything great, and this will be so fucking fast for you then to just reach your goal. I know that. I experienced that. Most important in flow, the relationship between what a person had to do and what he could do was perfect. The challenge wasn't too easy, nor was it too difficult. It was a notch or two beyond his current abilities, with stretched the body and mind in a way that made the effort itself the most delicious focus and satisfaction that easily surpassed other more quotidian experiences. In flow, people lived so deeply in the moment and felt so utterly in control that their sense of time, place, and even self melted away. They were autonomous, of course, but more than that, they were engaged. They were, as the poet, W.H. Auden wrote, forgetting themselves in a function. The science shows that the secret to high performance isn't our biological drive or our reward and punishment drive, but our third drive, our deep-seated desire to direct our own lives, to extend and expand our lives, and to live a life of purpose. At the end of each day, ask yourself whether you were better today than you were yesterday. This is something I think is actually something, that's great, because you then can see, but it's also something a little bit self-destructive if you then just be like, no, actually today I wasn't as good as I was yesterday. But in terms of this, I think you just have to be truthful to yourself. If you did more yesterday than today, yeah, just admit it and try the next day to make it better, because you can actually take these informations you get through things you're thinking about, to get farther the next day. One of the best ways to know whether you have mastered something is to try to teach it. The new approach to motivation has three essential elements. The first one is autonomy, the desire to direct your own lives. The second one is mastery, the urge to get better and better at something that matters. And the third one is the purpose, the yearning to do what we do in the service of something larger than ourselves. And this was actually this article. And what I think is that autonomy, so the desire to direct your own lives, can be given by you if you just, get the few informations and then you just, take care of it yourself. So if you really want to start a business, so you get yourself the first few informations you need from somewhere, depends on what you like the most, and then you work with it, and then you just direct this business thing, so your life, on your own, and then you get better and better and better at it, and then it starts to matter for you or matter to you, which then would be the second point, the mastery. And then and the third point is, so yearning to do what we do in the service of something larger than ourselves is maybe just working for our legacy, just like me, helping people, being the best or the kindest person, as reminded by somebody else, if I die someday, or being the richest, or just their legacy, what they really want to become, so they're a larger self, if you know what I mean. But nevertheless, I'm really thankful for you to just, go through this with me. If there is anything you want to talk about or want to tell me, there are all the social media links down in the description. So hit me just up, text me, DM me, comment on my posts, whatever you want to do it. And I'll see you tomorrow. And I love you. And I'll see you the next time. And I'll see you tomorrow. And see you. And bye. And I don't know, but bye.